There are just 15 days left in this Seinfeld-style election. Much like the show's theme, this is an election about nothing. Think about it. After a brain-dead Biden dropped out, the elite selected brainless Kamala. Trump didn't do any primary debates. Kamala has barely done any interviews, and when she does, it's pathetic. Much like how Elaine from Seinfeld would always order a big salad, that's exactly what we got with Kamala, a big old word salad. The two of them are not doing any debates either, and they're both to blame on that one. They like it that way. For Trump and Kamala, it's easier and accountability-free. Don't believe all the finger-pointing from the campaigns. It works out nicely for both of them. Now, the one thing we've got is a lot of one-liners out of this election. Like when J.D. Vance was found to have said that there's childless cat ladies running the country. Or when Tim Walz said during the debate that he's friends with school shooters. Or that free speech isn't guaranteed. Or when J.D. Vance told his son to shut the hell up when Trump called him. But aside from learning that politicians are even more psychopathic than we could even imagine, what else have we learned? Nothing. Let's just recap the last 4 years of events real quick. We'll start with that little tiny one, the global pandemic that was followed by lockdowns, church and school closures, and mask mandates. Then we had a rash of vaccine mandates, particularly Biden's order for the military and large businesses. When are we going to reconsider and re-examine this whole pandemic ideology? There's also the question of the last election. What happened? No one knows. The cases were never really heard, and then the blowhards that complained of a stolen election never really did anything about it afterwards. So let's just say the last election was stolen. What makes you think it would be any different this time? Are MAGA people even paying attention? Then there was the Uvalde school shooting. Why did that happen? Who knows? Maui went up in flames. There was the FAA outage that caused all domestic flights to be grounded. The first time that's happened since 9/11. What about those January 6th pipe bombs? Who did it? We hear all about the threats to democracy and the people storming the Capitol and the insurrectionists. But why did the police let those pipe bombs sit there so long after they noticed them? Who planted them? How can we not know the answer to this question? Who was in control when Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin went missing? Who knew he was missing? Did anyone even pay attention? What was happening with the defense in this country? What about the Afghanistan war withdrawal that killed 13 soldiers of ours and then left the country immediately into the hands of terrorists after our 20-plus year intervention? Who was smoking crack that was found in the White House? I don't know. Could it be Hunter? Maybe, but we never got an answer. Was President Biden peddling his influence for cash? Does anyone even remember that scandal? Ever since he stepped down, it's like the man has done no wrong. What's up with all the alien disclosures in Congress we've seen over the last few years? And what was that testimony that the government has non-human biologics? Is that even accurate? Remember that baby formula shortage where babies were starving in this country? How about when inflation hit a 40-year high, or when gas hit $5 a gallon for the first time? Oh, and don't forget the East Palestine train derailment, which is one of the biggest environmental scandals we've seen in modern history. What I want you to do now is think back to the debate between Biden and Trump. Then think about the one between Trump and Kamala. Were they even asked about any of these topics? No. The debate between Trump and Kamala was on the eve of September 11th. Not one question, not one comment, not one utterance about it, or the implications that our failed war on terror has yielded more than 20 years later. So much for never forget. Just this year, we saw the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore. We witnessed Biden completely lose his mind and have a brain fart on live television. I'm wondering if he's too old to run for president, how can he still be president until January 20th, 2025? What about that cryptic resignation post on Twitter that appears to not even contain Biden's signature? What about the massive ransomware attack on U.S. hospital systems? Or Springfield, Ohio, are the Haitians there really eating the cats and dogs? Don't look over there. It's all fake. It's all a conspiracy. Something's going on, though. People that live there say it is. And let's not forget about that assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania against Trump. What went wrong? Why did the Secret Service fail so badly? And why did Thomas Matthew Crooks want Trump dead? And let us not forget that there was another assassination attempt against Trump at his very own golf course. What's going on with the Secret Service? We only have a couple weeks left in this election, and all I've learned is that Kamala is black, Trump might be having an affair with Laura Loomer, J.D. Vance can't order donuts, and Tim Walz is friends with school shooters. Now, what do we get in this election? Some bland questions about the economy, mixed in with a few on the Russia-Ukraine war and the Israel-Gaza war, because this may be the American election, but it's our job to police the world. Oh, wait, don't forget about abortion, because if we're not killing babies in this country and arguing over it, are we even having an election? Welcome to America, where you're not entitled to get any real answers from the people running to be the leader of the free world. Pay no attention to the weirdness that's going on in your country. Don't worry. It's perfectly normal for Kamala, the current vice president, to go on a sex podcast named Call Her Daddy to plead her case of why she should be president. And it's completely normal for Trump to go on a bro podcast called Bussin' with the Boys. Do they do this because they, quote-unquote, have an audience they want to talk to? No. They do it because they'll get nothing but adulation and softball questions. Legitimate journalists, reporters, and news commentators aren't getting anywhere near these candidates. This very Seinfeld election can be summed up in the wise words of Frank Costanza.
That's why even at an early age, I had no interest in politics. I refused to vote. They don't want me, I don't want them.
Thanks for listening to Overnight Opinions. Be sure to tune in next Sunday night for an all-new episode. In the meantime, if you're looking to enlighten yourself with some controversial topics, check out my interview with Celeste Solum, who talks about how the global elite are planning to kill you. Or check out my interview with Dustin Nemos, who talks about how Trump is the Antichrist and how Trump staged his assassination attempt. Those interviews are so controversial, you'll only find them on BitChute, Rumble, and Brighteon. If you want to learn more about the border crisis, check out my interview with Christy Hutcherson from Women Fighting for America. That interview is available on YouTube.